Hello, everyone, and welcome to round 3 of IRC's Formula 2 Mini Championship hosted on F1 2021, the newest game, the newest installment in the F1 series. Good evening, my name is 8 Cylinders, and welcome. It's going to be a fantastic race today, and here to witness all of the carnage alongside me is Mr. Not So Masum himself. Masum, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Should be an interesting race. It's Monza, which has always created exciting racing here at IRC, and I think generally in the F1 game as well.
Monza is set to be the stage for round 3 of the F2 Championship, which follows a number of different formats. But before we head into that, let's have a quick look at the track video. Yeah, straight to game. So,
All right,
yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead. Wait, my bad.
No, I was just gonna say that while we were getting through the track video there, we have gotten qualifying underway. We have switched to the game now, and we just see 13 drivers on track today. Pretty good stuff, if I do say so. It's good to see all the involvement from all the drivers here today. Let me just go ahead and bring up some of the.
So Kapil started the race before saying that he wanted to get the win today, but right now it's RB and Evil Dog leading, and Kapil is all the way down in P10, and the winner from round one, Wilster, is all the way down in P9. So we might be in for an upset here. Faizan just moves up to P5 right now. Of course, we can't see everyone who's on track right now, but we can quite clearly see that some of the drivers, the current order is there, but you can see how the live order is changing as they go through the various sectors. So Faizan is up to P4 now, so Cryptid probably made a mistake somewhere, but could Faizan sneak into P3 ahead of Kuberabi?
On board with Farzad now as he barrels down the back straight. With these F2 cars down, it is reduced downforce, so it's much harder to control these cars over the F1 cars. So it should make for an interesting spectacle at Monza, which is more of a power track anyway. The Temple of Speed. Kuberabi comes across the line.
Yep, and he takes quite a big difference between the top three and the rest of the field. They're nearly a second down. Kapil, I think, has crashed and is way behind everyone else right now.
I think that's the disadvantage with one-shot qualifying is that we do
Yes.
have only one chance to put in a clean lap, so you do have to get in that lap as cleanly as possible while also maintaining maximum pace. So we just have a look at the qualifying order here. Kuberabi has put it on pole position, Evil Doc in second, RB Ferralo in third, Faizan managed to only put it on. I mean, P4 is pretty good, but he was carrying a lot of pace in that second half of the lap. Cryptid drops down to P5, Kimra in P6. Abhi 20 in P7, Streeter in P8, Monk in P9, Kapiles in P10 after I believe he crashed. No, I think no, he put in a lap. He was just 9 seconds off the
Yeah,
pace.
quite a lot of drivers, I think, DSQ'd and that ultimately put them down. But I think Kuberabi had a mega last sector because that's where he gained all his time. So perhaps running a little bit more downforce compared to the rest of the drivers. Perhaps.
Exactly. Don asking in the chat, do you guys provide any opportunity to race in F1 like coaching and stuff? He also asks for a shout out. Yes, Don, you have considered yourself shouted out.
That depends on how good the driver is.
Yeah, I think we'll have to evaluate
Yes.
Don in the upcoming weeks to make sure. Are you fast enough to receive coaching from us? Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. Nah,
Let's see.
I'm just kidding. Of course, everyone is welcome
Of
within
course.
IRC.
Yep. That's quite a fast timer, actually. Before we caught breath from qualifying, it's already into the race.
Yeah, before we do hop into the race though, let's have a quick look at the F2 format that we are following. This is the Duale format, which is opposed to the Singola format that we've been running for a couple of races now. I don't know if the last race was ran in the Singola format, but this is the Duale format. We had the one-shot qualifying just now, and we have a feature race of 50% length and then a sprint race of 50% length. Although I believe those are the other way around. The feature race usually comes after the sprint race. I might be wrong on that. But we do have, this is the format for the race weekend right here. One shot quali and two feature races of 50% length each, where one race, where the second race, the top 8 is reversed. So it should be pretty interesting. It should mix up the order quite a bit for the second race, and it should make for a very interesting race indeed, as we do have some of the drivers coming out on their formation lap now. We have this annoying rev issue. This is something that I've noticed in Formula 2 cars. We did have it a couple of races back in the opening round at Bahrain as well. I think this is just what the F2 cars.
Ooh, and we very strangely we have RB who's P3 on the grid being disqualified, so he's going to start with cold tires.
I mean, as long as he doesn't crash into anyone at turn 1, I think he'll consider it a pretty strong start, because that is going to be the priority in Monza. I think when you have so many cars heading into such a narrow section of the track, especially these Formula cars, they're wider, they're lower, so it's definitely going to be crucial to get a clean start. I think that's going to be everything. And also, Monza is a high downforce track. It's also a power track, but most of the corners are high speed, so you do have a lot of downforce requirement on the cars. You see Ravi pulling quite a large gap on the rest of the field, maybe a little eager to get going. As you did mention, RB is just sitting on the grid, enjoying the ambience of the pavilion.
Something regarding the F2 cars themselves, something I've personally noticed is that these cars are actually they're extremely, what do you call, when you're on TC, traction control, they're actually quite easy to handle compared to when you're on with TC off.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this and the classical Super game, they were actually one of the few cars that were easier to drive with assist actually, and some cases faster as well compared to when you're TC off.
Interesting. That's interesting to note actually. As we do have the drivers forming up now on the grid, we hear a little applause from the fans, in-game fans, if we will. We should have 5 lights coming in soon. We're sitting on board Rabi on pole position in the one-shot quali session. RB Ferrolo disqualified in that initial phase. This last couple of cars forming on the grid. The grid is formed. There we go. 5 lights. And away we go here in Monza. Car in P3 got a brilliant start. Faizan getting a beautiful start. Rabi still leading down to turn 1. Faizan side by side with Evil Doc as he comes down to turn 1. Faizan, big contact there. 2 cars drifting in. Basically, it almost looked like coordinated figure skating there, as 2 cars just slid across the curb of turn 1. I think that was Faizan getting a little bit too careless at the start, just choosing to send it up the inside of Evil Dog. Pretty okay start there from Streeter right on the back of Rabi. Rabi has dropped down a couple of places as a result of that start.
I think the big loser has been RB, who has lost 3 places. But I think the biggest loser was, of course, Faizan, who, as we see, his Streeter glitching into the grass at Lesmo 1. Interesting.
Do have a lot of internet issues going on here. Don't know if that's my side or if it's on the server side, but luckily we are still in the session. We still do have racing. There's a car making an overtake there. Thought about it, but choosing to stay behind there, as there is a lot of weather, sunlight glancing across the camera lens there as we just go past Faizan. I think there might be a couple of position changes at the front. It's going to be a very frantic opening couple of laps here as the drivers jostle for position before we start seeing the gaps open up all over the field.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think overall it's been pretty clean, but we can see Wilster G has that contact, has fallen back. I think Kimbra has had a big start right now. I think Kimbra was a big gainer from that side of the he's gained like four places over there. So, and Streeter as well has gained quite a lot, as we see. Oh my god, drivers are completely weaving, trying to break the slipstream. Yeah, but you know, like I think we don't have reports for the system, so I think people will be looking forward to you gain every advantage possible. RB has lost another position. I'm wondering if he's on a different tire compared to the rest.
Nope, he is on the soft tire as the rest of the grid. Just seems to be losing a lot of pace in this opening section, opening phase of the race, as Kimbra has picked up a penalty already.
Couple, I think that was very, I think Hamilton-esque on Magnussen from 2014. Italian Grand Prix as Kapil just does a beautiful switchback through the Roger chicane.
Evil Dog leading away from the rest of the pack here. Kimbra gets an overtake done on Streeter going into Ascari. Important here to keep your control. That exit curb on the inside can be really, really damaging to a race, as we do see some drivers absolutely smacking it on the inside. Avi Ferrello has lost another position coming down the back straight, leading down to Parabolica.
I suspect the only explanation for me is that he has damage right now from that opening lap contact when Faizan dived down the inside there.
Just having a look at his front wing here, doesn't seem like he has much damage on the front wing there.
I'm not sure if they're running full simulation damage, but if they have, he may have potentially gotten floor damage.
Oh, Streeter is retired from the race.
Streeter is retired from the race, and we have a safety car.
Not really sure. I think. Oh, the more cars retiring from the race right on the pit straight. Kapil is out as well.
Whoa, and we have Faizan who got a 5-second penalty for severe collision with Kapil Ace.
Not really sure what happened there. 3 cars retired right on the pit straight.
And Cuba Ravi has a 5-second penalty for ignoring error flags. What just happened?
Not really sure, but Monza is delivering until this far. 3 laps in, we already got 3 retirements. I mean, you can look at it one of 2 ways. There's less cars on the track now, but the other way is we get a little bit more entertainment. So 3 cars retired on the pit straight, of all places in a straight line. Not quite sure what instigated those 3 incidents, but Streeter was the first one, then it was Kapil, and then obviously Wilster was the last one to, or I think Wilster may have been out a little earlier because it only says 1 lap. So I don't think he may have crossed the line.
I heard a news from these guys. Basically, the safety car got called out and Streeter did not get the safety car notification, and basically when everyone slowed down, he basically was caught off guard.
I see. Right, so that's very interesting because usually, I mean, that happened to, what's his name? It happened to No More Pro Player last season. I think he got a call at Silverstone, and he just didn't see the safety car Delta come up on his screen. It was on the previous version of the F1 game, but still, it is pretty interesting to see that drivers are not seeing or not being made aware of the fact that there are some yellow flags or safety car currently in effect. As we see Tanish getting a penalty there as he slid into
the top 6 has opted to not box, so that's very interesting. But everyone below this P7 and below has decided to box, so they're potentially planning to go long on the mediums. But interestingly, the top 6 hasn't pitted, which is just a no-brainer for me because it is going to be a free pit stop.
Also, Monk has gone onto another set of soft tires. That is an interesting strategy call from him.
Hello.
Hello. What happened, Kapil? Take us through.
Yes, see, we turned to a safety car. People have crashed in front of me. People are weaving left and right, smashed into Faizan.
Who crashed first?
I don't know. All I saw was I'm following the VSC to going my speed limit. Next thing I know, there are a couple of chunks of front wing just flying all over the place. And next thing I know, okay, let me weave right to basically avoid the action. And the car, which is probably 200 kmph slower than I am in front of me, also does the same. And I smash into him and wreck myself. Fun.
Hey, still one more race left, so you can always recover.
Of course. Also, while you guys were talking, I did notice that there were some droplets of rain falling. I don't know if I was imagining things, but yes, it does seem like there is rain falling at a very small amount of rain at some parts of the track, but it does seem to be rain incoming.
That is strange. So that could probably, the game does have a foggy behavior at times, so that could be it, because I don't see, at least on your stream.
It is what it is, I guess. We still have no safety car coming in at this lap.
We have P5 and P6 pitting. I think they have finally realized that this is not that they should have boxed earlier.
Tanish goes.
They have gone to
again.
Cryptid has just made a huge mistake. He has gone into the wet tires over. Is there no inter tires in F2? If I'm not wrong. Yeah, there are no intermediate tires in F2. Of course, I never remember correctly. So that means
Ooh.
whoever stayed out are now going to come back. But that means Evil Dog, Kimrai, Faizan, and Abi and Monk are going to be at a back foot here, and Cryptid is probably going to be the net leader after this series of pit stops.
Either that or the wet runners have made a catastrophic mistake in misjudging the level of intensity of the rain that's currently falling, and maybe we do have another 2 or 3 laps where we can run the dry tires before. But we do see the rain is now starting to fall a little bit more heavily, and we do see it is starting to get pretty slippery out there.
Yep, I wouldn't be surprised if any of the soft runners crash, and I think someone has crashed out of Lesmo 1. I think it's Cryptid has, no, not Cryptid, Faizan has crashed in the wet. Yep, he just spun out. Yep, it's wet, definitely wet. Yep, he crashed at Lesmo 1 on the dry tires in the wet conditions, and we can see that he is now fallen behind the safety car train. I think as far as I'm concerned, Cryptid is going to be the net leader, and Cuber Abi should come out P2 right now with Tanish in P3, because the people who are away from their who haven't boxed it are going to be losing time, while people who are catching up to the safety car are going to gain time.
I mean, it all
The best
does depend on what the leaders now take in terms of a strategy call, as Evil Dog really pushing the safety car pace there. That poor AMG GTR can only go so fast.
they have to box right now. I wonder if Evil Dog can choose to just fly past the safety car and box, and I wonder if it will be ignored.
He does choose to play it a little safe, and he does dive into the pits now. We will see Cryptid taking over the race lead as he comes past the pit lane there on the full wet tires, and he does inherit the race lead as you predicted, although there is quite a large gap between Cryptid and the rest of the wet runners. Now they are slowly passing the pit lane. Dwajin also, I believe he has a drive through. Oh no, he's just really struggling with the conditions, as we saw a big snap of oversteer coming out of Parabolica there. Actually, I think one of the most recent dry runners has actually jumped Dwajin. Oh no, they've just come out behind him. He's been very lucky there with the conditions, but he has come out in front of all the original soft runners who were running in that initial phase of the rain. Faizan also onto the wet tires. Not sure if he picked up a new front wing or not. I think he may have.
Yep. But let's not forget the people who boxed 1 lap later will have 1 lap fresher tires. So that might, I mean, I'm pretty sure F2 tires are pretty high degradation, so that might come into their benefit towards the end of the race. Oh, as Faizan completely goes off track, braking for the Delaroja chicane. But the safety car has been on for 3 laps, and I think there's a hard limit of 3 laps to the safety car, so it might be going in any lap right now.
Yep, we should be seeing the. Yep, as we see race controls just popping up on our screen there. Safety car in this lap. We'll go on board Cryptid. I was going to say Kubarabi there for a second. Cryptid is the race leader currently after inheriting the race lead in spectacular fashion, making a brilliant strategy call, and about 5 other drivers behind him followed him in.
Yeah, that was a very poor call from a lot of the drivers there.
And here we were criticizing Cryptid for going on the wrong strategy. See, clearly he saw something we didn't.
It was very weird because the pack of Evil Dog, etc., they also stood out for longer, which doesn't make sense.
As Cryptid does get us going in this initial phase, coming into the second half of the race now, as he leads away in the wet conditions. Little bit of jostling for position going on behind him. Nobody would dare go too wide in these conditions, as Cryptid goes straight on a turn 1. He should pick up a penalty for that. Yes, he does. 3 seconds for corner cutting. Tanish, Abi 20 and Kubarabi exchanging positions. Pole sitter currently in P4 after starting P1. Series of tragic decision making from the leaders earlier has puts them behind Dwajin, as RB does get ahead of Dwajin. There seems to be a battle going on there as Abi has spun around. Oh, he has. He's lost a lot of positions there.
very strange from there right now. So I think Kibar Abi just got caught out with the conditions, and he basically had a big moment where he lost time. But right now the ball clock
He
is
and
inside.
Abi Farala had a huge crash. I think Abi missed his breaking point and went,
Ooh,
yeah,
that's that's very unfortunate. But hopefully these guys can come back into the race. But of course it's wet, and I think a lot of people ahead will be making mistakes. So they really need those two really need to keep it consistent right
Ooh,
now.
Cryptid going very sideways, very hairy out on the exit of Ascari, now losing time to Tanish down the back straight. Well, Tanish chooses to send it up the inside of Parabolica. Of course, it's wide decision not to do so, makes up a lot of time on Cryptid, who seems to be struggling a little bit in these wet conditions as Tanish slips down the inside and into the race lead.
Yeah, we can see Cryptid seems to be really struggling with these conditions, but Tanish seems to be having a better time. Could be setup related, we don't know, but right now Tanish seems to have the upper hand in these conditions. As we can see, Cryptid go much faster in the straight line. So, ooh, he's tense. He's gonna try to stick it. Ooh, he tries. Oh, I think he just tried to push Tanish off the track over there, and Tanish I think had to take evasive action there. So pretty naughty there from Cryptid over there, ignoring that the car was ahead of him, and right now ahead. You can see how much faster Cryptid is on a straight line here, but so that means he has a lower downforce setup, and that is helping Tanish right now, but it's not doing any favor for Cryptid in the corners there. You can see how much quicker Tanish was on the exit there.
I think Tanish did brake a little bit just on the exit there, not quite sure. We don't have brake lights in Formula 2, so we don't really know the inputs of the drivers, but it did seem like Cryptid had to absolutely jump on the brakes as he saw Tanish braking ahead of him on the exit of the De La Roche chicane.
Could be, but it doesn't look like, you can see, on the straight, right? So you can see the gap drop by nearly a tenth on just on the straight between Lesmo 2 and Ascari.
Of course, the one aerodynamic advantage that Formula 2 cars do have is DRS. Of course, they don't quite have the same level of aerodynamic downforce that the Formula 1 cars have, as Cryptid goes very sideways, clips a little bit of the grass, and Tanish is now well and truly away. And you do have to wonder if Cryptid did go for a low downforce setup in anticipation of a fully dry race, but it is what it is, I guess.
That's what it is. And we can see Evil Doc is gaining on Cryptid as well. I'm not sure what lap times he's doing, but he certainly gained like 1.5 seconds on Cryptid here. And given that Tanish also got a 3-second penalty, Evil Doc could be in contention for the win here if he can keep it clean and consistent.
You can see just how slippery the conditions are, as it seems like Abi20 has dived into the pits.
I think he had a moment. I think I saw a spun out Prema in between, and I think he may have hit the wall and lost a wing potentially.
I think Kimrai is also choosing. No, he's just coming past the pit lane now, significantly behind the field. I did think for a second that he was diving into the pits as well, but that's not the case. The gap seems to have opened up a little bit here. The field has spread, but it seems to be the only battle happening right now is between Cuba Rabi and Faizan, separated by 0.6 of a second and dropping.
Yep, that does look like it, and we can see. I think the current battle right now is the Vegin is gaining on Evil Dog. I'm not sure, but either way, Evil Dog is losing and gaining to Cryptid. It seems to be even right now, but Evil Dog could be on for a P2 here if he can keep it close. But Tanish is gaining massively every lap over Cryptid, so he's definitely the faster car at this point.
Tanish definitely has anticipated the wet conditions a lot better than Cryptid did, or expected wet conditions to be a factor in this race, as he's clearly running a lower downforce setup. He doesn't seem to be he seems to be losing time on the straights compared to Cryptid, but it could very easily be that Cryptid is running a very low downforce setup.
Evil Dog just gained another chunk of time on Cryptid. He just gained nearly 5 tenths, so Cryptid is really struggling right now, and it's only a matter of time, I think, before Evil Dog closes up on Cryptid.
Could be another battle in the making here. We do see Cuba Rabi and Faizan separated by 0.7 of a second. That gap not really coming down. Faizan seeming to stay ahead right now, as there seems to have been some sort of incident. Cryptid has dived into the pits.
Yep, I think that means that Cryptid has had an incident somewhere, and that's it, and he has lost. He has damaged his car, so he is now opting to box.
Yeah, you can see that front wing is really taking a hit there.
Yep, absolutely. So that means he is now going to drop to the back of the field.
Ooh, as Cuba Rabi tried to send one up the inside of Faizan.
And among other news, you have Dwejin, who has closed. Evil Dog has at the moment, he just lost a massive amount of time, and Dwejin is not far from him. So let's go on board Dwejin and Evil Dog, because Evil Dog just lost 2 seconds to Tanish there.
I think Evil Doc was following.
Safety car, safety car, safety car.
Oh dear. What
Okay.
is this result of, I wonder?
I think this game, like if there are debris on track, they have opted to engage the safety car. So I think the most likely possibility here is that there was incident, and because of that, there was debris on track, and because of the safety car has been called upon. So it's at lap 10. So I think the latest the safety car can come is lap 13.
Yep. I
So we
think
may have very little laps of racing.
Yeah, Kimbra may have had a moment there as he comes in for a pit stop. I think he may have gotten a new front wing. That car is really struggling down in third gear coming through the first chicane, as that's the safety car. I think you can pass it there, Kimbra. There we go. Now we see Tanish coming through Parabolica. Wow, nearly almost a lap ahead of Kimbra now in just a span of 10
And
laps.
he is also boxing.
I think he's going
And he
for a
gets a
new
5
set
second.
of... Yeah, and he gets a...
And he gets a. So he just did he just hand the win over to? Go let's see on but I want to see if he does a wing change.
Nope, just tires. He's gone for a new
That's-
set of wet tires. Will Faizan get the
He-
position? He will. Will Kuberabi get the
I
position?
am-
He will. RB has also dived into the pits. Monk stays out.
I am extremely confused at this point in time. I'm not sure why anyone would do that.
Tanis has dropped a grand total of 6 positions in that safety car window. After
5 positions
pitting.
actually.
Oh yeah, technically
Yes.
yeah, because he was in the lead. Yes.
5. But that doesn't make sense. Why did he box?
He's opted for a cold set of wets on a wet track after having the lead. He should have just stayed on the old set of wet tires. Nobody else in the top 5 has chosen to do so.
I mean, either we're missing something here, or
Tanish has
I
gone
can't-
blaming mad.
yeah, exactly. It can't be two of those things together.
I mean, you could say because of the wet conditions that Tanish may be going a little delirious in that car. And, okay, I'll take no points for that.
I think, but let's not forget that also 3-second penalty. So this is all Evil Dog's race right now.
Unless Dwayne can seriously bend those chances.
I don't know what's the degradation of the wet test. They could be pretty high because this is an intermediate track, and I don't know, but and that on a wet track might not be the most situation of yeah, that means that is 8 seconds of penalty. So why did he box? That makes sense. Alright, and now we're waiting for the safety car to come back. Of course, the entire field will have to bunch up, or 3 laps have to pass in the safety car, whichever comes first, of course. So we are now starting lap 11. So now we should be having it soon. Of course, I think Kimbra and Abi needs to catch up first. Interestingly, I see Kimbra is setting personal best in the safety car lap, which is very weird. I'm not sure if that's correct or if I'm reading it right. Alright, most of the field has caught up to the safety car, and we're waiting for Cryptid, Abi, and Kimbra to join. Kimbra, of course, has to catch up, but he should be able to catch up by the end of this next lap, so the safety car should be in this lap. Flats, HL, I can't hear you if you are talking.
How long have I been muted?
You're muted for like 2 minutes?
Ah, it's not bad, too bad then. I might have
Okay.
There's a button on my microphone, as in on my headphone,
Oh.
that allows me to mute my microphone. I've been playing with it. Maybe I might have touched it accidentally.
Yeah, I mean, even I have one, and it happens all the time.
I don't know why they provide a button to turn off the mic. I guess they
I
found
mean, it's a it's a good thing to have a hardware functionality for the scene.
a hardwired mic off button in case everything else goes to shit. Anyways, safety car, still nothing from race control to make us believe that the safety car is coming in this lap. So I think we should have lap 13 on the safety car as well, which should leave a quick fire salvo of 2 laps where we have all to play for. the safety car restart. Also, it seems like Abhi 20 just disconnected from the game and is reconnecting back because a Steam notification has just popped up. So right now his car is ghosted, and it is. So we see that Tanish making 3 stops in this race so far. And Abhi 20 has also made 3 stops in this race so far. Evil Dog has only made 1 and he inherits the race lead.
Well, we do know that. Oh, safety car off? Or am I missing something?
No, they're all just having a bit of fun under safety car.
Okay,
Don't quite know what's happening though. A lot of drivers just... ooh! Tanish has picked up another 5-second penalty. What is going on?
he may have front wing damage potentially from that. Very strange, events right now unfolding in front of us. Sorry about the yawn. I did not get enough sleep last night, but
I mean, it's not hard to blame you. The safety car period seems to be very, very... It seems to be ruining the flow of the race for us, but it is what it is.
Yep, it is what it is. But it's Monza, and we have to expect safety cars. Surprisingly, we did have in Tier 1 in Season 5, we did have a race where we had like 1 VSC, so I guess that's pretty good by Monza standards.
I mean, last season around Monza, the Tier 1 race was just pure havoc. I think everybody was losing it at Ascari, which led me to name it the Chicane of Champions, because it really was claiming all kinds of names there. We have Iridium coming in the chat by saying this bug is really annoying. It only happens in F2 this time around. And can you show us the penalty status? Yes, I can show you the penalty status. Let's have a look at the penalty status. We will have a look, and we see Tanish on 13 seconds, of which I would say 5 seconds is definitely avoidable. And not sure, I think the safety car is coming in this lap, so the Evil Dog has put a little bit of space between himself and the safety car. Let's see if that is the case. Evil Dog coming really slowly around the last corner. Safety car does come into the pits. We're about to go green here. And we do go green.
Everyone is jogging position right now. Evil Dog's the only one who seems to have escape. As we see Faizan get a mega start. Is he going to go into the lead? He doesn't. Evil Dog completely slips off. Faizan is going to the lead. Ooh, Evil Dog getting his elbow out there, I believe.
Faizan will have the inside as there's a big wheel banging moment there between the two drivers. Dwajin off the track. It's 3 wide going into Della Roggia. It seems like Faizan and Evil Dog still banging wheels. Evil Dog seems to have a little bit more top speed. Dwajin will have the inside line. Will it be 3 wide? It's not 3 wide just yet, but it will be by the time we come around to Lesbo 1. Faizan just choosing to cut the second part of the chicane entirely as Dwajin gets a brilliant exit out of Della Roggia, inheriting the race lead with just 2 laps to go.
Someone has lost their wing. I saw a wing fly across the screen. Very strange. I don't know why Evil Dog and an Evil Dog gets spun out. I think that was scripted over there, and Evil Dog crashed into the wall.
Evil Dog crashed into the wall. He drops down to P last. So has Abhi. As a result of that, Dwajin inherits the race lead with Faizan not far behind him. Seems like Cryptid is very, very racy though in this early section as he completely overtakes Tanish. I was going to say Tanish completely goes off the track, but he has completely overtaken Tanish as well. RB Ferralo also right behind Tanish. Tanish will lose another position here to Jehan Darwala's car. As RB moves up into P4. Dwajin picks up a 5-second time penalty. That will be very useful for Faizan, who is right behind him.
Yeah, but it's a very strange incident between Faizan and Cryptid. I don't know if it's Faizan and Evil Dog or Cryptid and Evil Dog, but it did seem like whoever that was did turn into Evil Dog there.
I mean, whoever was involved as Dwajin goes straight on at turn 1. Does he pick up another? He does pick up a 3-second time penalty. Again, Faizan is now in pole position, no pun intended, to pick up this race win here. Cryptid right behind him as well, may have a chance of P2. in this race. Of course, you do have to keep in mind that the order does get reversed for the top 8 in race 2. This is questionable racing here from Dwajin. Just can't seem to get a handle on his car. Has to slow down to avoid getting even more penalties. But Cryptid has moved up into P2 and Faizan into P1. Great
He
move.
seems to have. He seems to have. I think a lot of people are forgetting how to brake in these conditions right now.
They see wet tires on wet track and they're like, I'll just take the same racing line that I do all the time at the same speed. And then they're left looking like a surprised Pikachu face when they find out that nothing doesn't quite go to plan. As we do see a battle here between Cryptid and Faizan. Faizan sent spinning into the wall. Oh dearie me. How many positions will he lose as he rejoins in questionable fashion? Good thing this isn't ACC because he would have easily taken out a couple of other people as he rejoined. Cryptid inherits the race lead with 3 seconds of penalties.
Yep. I think generally through this race, I don't want to point any fingers, but I think Cryptid has had some questionable moments in today's race. I've seen him like turn into like 4 cars today, nearly.
There will be
So
words
I think
exchanged.
yep, I'm pretty sure there are some words being exchanged right now in the voice channels.
As RB comes across the line, he was just 2 and a bit seconds behind Cryptid, so he does pick up the race win after Cryptid picked up a 3-second time penalty sometime earlier in the race. Also, Dwajin drops to P5 after nearly 8 seconds of time penalties. Tanish picks up another 5 seconds of time penalties and has gone from being in the lead on lap 7 to being plumb last on lap 15, or almost plumb last, should I say, as Kuberabi seems to be the only driver who is struggling down the back straight now to get to the end.
Yep, I think the big gain was Kim Rai. If you remember before the last safety car period, he was basically P last, and he has now moved up to a podium position. So that's a very good result for him.
Wow! Yeah, you're right.
In reverse pole position, in pole position for the next race is of course a Monk, and I suppose that crash for Faizan could be a blessing in disguise, as he will now be in the front row for the sprint race as well.
Indeed, as Tanish picks up driver of the day, does he? I guess if you base it on the basis of penalties, then yes, of course, because he's picked up 15 seconds of them. But RB Ferrello does stand on the top step of the podium in the sprint race, and we will come to the feature race in just a second. This is your final finishing order for the sprint race, the first part of this 2-part race weekend. RB in pole position will now drop to P8 in the second race, Cryptid in P2, Kimra in P3, Evil Dog in P4, Dwajin in P5 after picking up a couple of penalties in the final few laps, Abi20 in P6, Faizan who line up on the front row in race 2 in P7, Monk in P8, Tanish in P9 and Kuberabi in P10 with 3 DNFs.
Yep, so that was, like quite a, I would say, spicy race. A lot of incidents. I think a lot of drivers were quite adventurous with where they broke and how much space they decided to like give each other. So, but hopefully, it will be a clean race going to the sprint race. Let's see how it goes forward.
Indeed. So get your predictions in the chat as to what your predictions are going to be for the second sprint race. The second race in this 2-race weekend. If you are just joining us, we'll have another look at the F2 format for this Duale Championship style. So we have one shot quali, which I think the pole position was taken by Kuberabi, and we have the 50% feature race, which just concluded, and we have another 50% sprint race coming up very soon, which should have the top 8 finishers of the first race reverse. So that says Faizan move up into the front row, and it says, is that Monk starting in P1? Yeah, it's Monk starting in P1. So we are just about to get into the second session here, and it seems to be fairly dry. It does seem to be fairly dry. We'll go into the game now, just have a look at this weather forecast when it does load in. Or I don't think we get a chance to see it, or maybe we missed it already. I mean, it gives us a little bit of double jeopardy for us in the commentary box as we get to experience the excitement or fear of the drivers as the weather conditions change alongside them.
Yeah, this is looks like it's going to be a full wet race, a dry race. I don't really see a possibility for wet race occurring.
That would be.
Let's see.
We do see.
We do have a we do have a formation lab. I was confused if we had a formation lab or not.
You see the lights come on, and then you're like, "Oh no, is there a formation lab?"
I should remember it, given that we did have for the last race.
So we do see Monk starting in P1 in this feature race of this 2-race weekend format. Faizan, after getting pretty unlucky in race 1, does start on the front row alongside Monk if he can get a mega start, which he does seem to have the pace this weekend. Did I just see a car go into the back? No, I'm just having a look at the end of an Armco barrier. I thought that was a car who had gone off straight, just coming through turn 3, but it doesn't seem to be the case.
It's quite interesting. But yeah, but let's not forget, I think Abi20 is disconnected. I don't know if he's back yet. He is back from the looks. His car is not ghosted, so that means he is back in the session at the moment.
Abi20 has reset back to the grid for.
I'm not sure. I think in this game, if you go off track, you are reset back to grid. As far as I remember, as Faizan decides to fall back, and while others are speeding, I think the Virgin and Evil Dogs is speeding into the distance. So not sure what they're trying. I mean, you know.
Everybody just a little eager to get going, I guess, as we see Evil Dog really far ahead of everyone. Monk is almost rounding Parabolica here as we do reach the end of the formation lap. Drivers just filtering through Ascari. That engine glitch is really jarring to the ears.
If you alt tab and alt tab back, it should fix itself usually.
Let me see if we can go on. Nope, it just seems to be an issue with the F2 cars. In the first race at Bahrain, me and Shalalak were also talking about this issue. We tried rejoining to the session as well, but to no avail. I think it's just how these F2 cars are coded.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Like, but let's see. Hopefully, the race will be better than the terrible noise.
Couple of drivers just filtering through here, just forming up the rest of the grid as Wilster heads into place. We can go on board Monk, as we should now see Abi20 back on the grid for the race start. I think Nasum, you can take us away this time.
So we can see, I'm not sure how many lights there are, but we should be going on the grid very soon right now. 5 lights and away we go, and all of them seem to get a bit start. But I can see the virtuosity on the 8th grid start getting quite a good start. But right now I think Faizan moves into the lead of Monk over there. No, yeah, Faizan moved to the league and he is now coming through. Oh, and we have a spun around the Virgin there as Monk turns slightly, doesn't give the Virgin no space, but I think the Virgin should have taken it cautious. But Abi20, even with the Skull task, maintains P3. Evil Dog up to P4 after being, I think, outside the top 8, and so very good start from him. And we have Tanich also, who has made quite a lot of gains from the looks of it. And Cuba Rabi has also gained quite a lot. No, actually, Tanich hasn't gained much, but Evil Dog seems to have had a good start over there.
Does seem to be a fairly tidy start by typical Monza standards. Not too many great position changes. We see a car sideways on the track.
That was Monk, I believe, who started in 4th position, and Faizan. So both of them seems to have had some kind of incident. Or I think the most likely possibility to happen was that I think Faizan may have spun, and I think Monk may have collided with him as he was spinning. The ghosting is not always the most consistent, but that means Abi20 is in the lead of the race right now.
With Evil Dog not far behind him as well. Does seem to be crypted also on the charge on Dwajir to get an overtake down onto the inside of Parabolica. Evil Dog and Abi20 also fighting ahead of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Tanit, after what happened last race, would be looking forward to make amends. Let's have a look. And Abi20 is the first lap of the race right now. As we can see, Tanit goes through Kim Brai over there. I'm not sure what's happening.
Kimrai
And
seems to
DRS
be
has been
running.
enabled.
Yep.
As we can see, Kimrai. Let's not. Oh, wait, what?
I have lost connection to Steam apparently. That is very, very stupid. No network connection.
Hopefully you would need to restart your Steam, but let's hope we can come back.
Yes, I will just go ahead and switch to this. Still do apologize for this, ladies and gentlemen. This seems to be a little bit annoying. Let me just try to reconnect. Not really sure why that's happening.
It's very strange. It could just be a bad connection. The game is quite prone to disconnecting from Steam.
I think I may have to restart my Steam.
Yeah, you'll have to, most of the time when this happens, you'll have to restart your Steam.
Okay, do apologize to everyone here on stream, but it does seem to be like there's some kind of issue with the Steam connection on my side. I do apologize for this.
Steam is down?
Steam is down
From the
for
looks
everyone?
Let me check. I'm checking on my side. I saw it on stream. Watching it.
it might just be but if that's the case, everyone should disconnect. So I think Steam is still up. Just try restarting your Steam. Yeah, it's working fine for me.
It seems to be connecting some kind of. I usually there is a network disconnection on in. It does seem to be like Steam is down for me. I cannot seem to log back in. That's a shame.
That's very unfortunate. Let me try if I'm in the session, so I will share my screen on Discord and you can stream from that, I guess.
It'll have to be done that way, I guess. Let me see if I
Yep.
can just try to do something here. 1 second.
Let me try.
Some people are suggesting watch the Evil Dog's point of view on Discord. He is streaming, so they're not wrong there. But let me just try to get this working again. Don't know why this is happening.
Let's have a look.
Yes, Steam is working, so it's on your end.
Do apologize for this. Usually it's just F1 that acts. I mean, if it's my Wi-Fi, then obviously the stream shouldn't be happening, but the stream is definitely connected.
I am streaming on my. Are you able to connect now?
No, it still seems to be giving me issues. But yeah, we will go ahead and.
I am streaming my screen, so you can stream my Discord overlay.
Yes, I will do that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, 1 second. I will just go ahead and.
Let me know once you are streaming the perspective.
Yes, we are back online, I guess. Yep.
Yeah, that should be fine. All right, so we can see we're right now on board. Evil Dog is leading the race, but Cryptid is in hot pursuit over here, and we can quite clearly see that Cryptid seems to be gaining quite massively. 1 second, as I am getting absolutely, my ears are being absolutely destroyed. Where is the setting?
On your right?
Yep.
No pun intended there, I guess.
Yeah. Yep, as we can see, Evil Dog is trying to go on the outside there. Oh, and Cryptid has made the move on Evil Dog over here, and a very good move from Cryptid over there. Evil Dog tried to stay on, but Cryptid seems to be having the faster pace. I wonder if a lot of these guys are running setups and a lot of guys are not running setups. And Evil Dog had the DRS over there, and what that means is Evil Dog could be ahead, but Cryptid bakes so much later than Evil Dog there. Ooh, that was very close to a contact over there, but Evil Dog now coming back in. He will have the slipstream, but Cryptid seems to be getting much better exits than Evil Dog over here. Evil Dog, I think, is running, as we suspected before, it was running much higher downforce than Cryptid. As we can see, Cryptid is gaining all the way through the straights, but as you can see, it's much slower through the corners. And Evil Dog now goes for a beautiful switch back there through the Dalaroja chicane. Ooh, almost come to a little bit of contact there. So what do you think it's does? Do you think he's going to be able to this seems to be a battle that's just going ping pong both ways. Now Cryptid now has a DRS.
Yep, Cryptid will have DRS coming down into the Ascari chicane, carrying a lot more speed as Evil Dog tries to shut down the inside. We also saw for a brief period of as this battle was unfolding, we saw Kapil and RB also coming together in a battle. They were only 2 tenths apart, but now the gap has opened up a little bit between them. It does seem like RB is coming back at him in just a second, but the battle here between Evil Dog and Cryptid seems to have concluded. I mean, Cryptid has overtaken him and has also pulled out almost a second gap over Evil Dog.
2 secs 8 still.
We have a yellow flag as Abi20 has spun right now, and a horrible day for the Prema boys as they're now P7 and P8.
2 secs 8 still. Can you turn off show non-video participants?
Let me just.
And next to your live, do you see the triple dots, the 3 dots, top right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, just press show non-video participants.
Yep.
So Evil Dog lost a lot of time through Ascari, and that means now Cryptid does have some breathing room. But now coming into the Dalaroja chicane, we did see that Evil Dog was much faster through here. Yep, we did see last time out that Cryptid was much slower through this particular section. As we can see, I can see Evil Dog gaining a little bit on the entry to corners, but he's just losing out. He's just losing out so much more on the exit of corners. Like just the sheer amount of straight line speed that Cryptid has is allowing him to pull quite a bit ahead, and we can see Tanich is also not far behind right now. Let me turn on the lap data over here. Tanich right now improving 2 tenths on his personal best, and Cryptid now coming through the Ascari chicane.
On the left of Masoom.
Uber Ravi sets a fast lap. I think he did bolt on some fresh tires, and he's now using them to full effect.
No, just click the arrow.
No,
yeah,
no,
okay, yep. Yeah, you got it. You got it.
I've got it.
Yep, as we can see, Tanich at the fast lap of the race with a 29.9. So it's really to see if Tanich can get past Evil Dog and chase down Cryptid towards the end of the race.
The Cryptid does seem to have this margin of a second. He does seem to maintain this margin over Evil Dog, but Evil Dog not really falling back too much, even though he seems to be running a higher downforce setup. He does not seem to be losing out because of the power of the toe around Monza. Being the high-speed circuit that it is, the toe is quite effective around here.
Oh, as we can see, Kimrai just misses breaking point. I think he was trying for a very ambitious dive on a B20, and he ends up cutting the corner, getting a 5-second penalty as well in the process.
Yep, definitely. The battle seems to be heating up all over the park here. Abhi also seems to be within 7 tenths of Kimrai, catching him up slowly. Kimrai is carrying a penalty, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem for Abhi. He can just sit there nice and happy. He will want to get the position, obviously, on track, on merit, but even if he doesn't, the penalty will help him out. We are already 7 laps into 11 lap race. We have missed a couple of laps due to that little hiccup, but the main battle here seems to be for the lead, as Cryptid and Evil Dog are dishing out the punishment to each other.
Yep, absolutely. And Evil Dog is not coming back. Evil Dog goes wide in parabolic bias, picking up a little bit of the aero workshop, but he will have DRS. Will he be able to get closer to Cryptid? I noticed in the last DRS trade, despite Cryptid being, we have a spun B20 again. Scary, he spun again already once, but you can see how much Evil Dog gains on the entry to corners. It's actually quite astonishing.
Yep, he does. You did cut out a lot there, but we did roughly hear what you were trying to say. Yep, Evil Dog is definitely he does have the advantage in the corners, but in the straights he does seem to be losing out, especially if he's not within DRS. He is for now, but we don't know how long Cryptid will choose to hang around with the space that he's carrying right now. But it's going to be a very interesting battle coming into these last couple of laps.
Yep, crucially, I just noticed Cryptid set purple sector 1.
Definitely picking up the pace. Then those tires seem to be coming into the window now.
And it's not far back as well. He's been holding his gap. Evil Dog has been holding, but the gap between Evil Dog and Cryptid has reduced quite a lot. But I think something very concerning for Evil Dog would be that even with DRS, Evil Dog is not really gaining a lot on encrypted.
Yep, and he doesn't have much time to even try to catch up. He has only 3 laps left, less than that actually. Yeah, he has three and a bit laps left to catch Cryptid, and Cryptid is definitely the fastest driver in this straight line. Evil Dog has dropped out of DRS, and we see that delta slowly increasing as Evil Dog pulls away. It was just on the verge of 4 tenths there, but it's already 1.6 tenths, 1.6 seconds up on Evil Dog just by the end of the straight.
So I just had a casual look at the straight line speeds of Evil Dog and Cryptid. So Cryptid's top speed at the end of the straight was 320. Evil Dog was 315.
Also, Faizan and RB are fighting just behind us. Faizan did get the move done into turn 1, but RB has a good run on him down into Della Rosia.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what happens. Is Kimbra has DNF? Will that be a safety car? I don't think so, because I don't see any debris on track. But yes, 500 get the move done on RB. Is RB on? Yeah, they're on the same tire, so this is purely down to like performance, individual performance right now.
Yep.
But among other things, Stanish has now is into the DRS of Evil Dog. He is looking like the faster driver at this point. So the question is, will he be able to get the move done on Evil Dog into turn 1?
This is going to be troublesome for Evil Dog as he seems to be losing the pace on the race leader who is Cryptid right now. And it should be worrying news that Evil Dog, who had good pace in in race 1, is now losing so much time in race 2. I guess he was anticipating more wet conditions, maybe went for that high downforce setup in anticipation of it, but it seems to have backfired as he is losing a large chunk of time, not only to Cryptid but also Tanish is catching him up. Fastest man on the track at this point. The Carlin driver moves out of the slipstream and into P2 in the race standings. Evil Dog slips back into the slipstream, having to concede the position even before turn 1. Could not even defend the position, was just a sitting duck on the straights.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 laps to go. Will Tanish be able to get that decisive move on Cryptid? He is looking like the faster driver right now.
RB also seems to be fair. It did show that he was just 2 tenths behind Faizan, and then suddenly the gap opened up to 2 seconds.
Yep.
Not sure.
Tanish is at purple sector 1 right now. So he, but I think both Cryptid and Tanish are quite even first sectors. As Cryptid goes quite wide there at Lesmo 1.
And picks up a 3-second penalty for it.
So Tanish is the net race leader now. He just needs to keep this together. But I think knowing Tanish, knowing how fierce a racer he is, he will be looking forward to getting that win on track.
Yep, definitely the competitive spirits will be high now, and Tanish definitely now senses blood in the water. Cryptid's going to be constantly checking his rear view mirror now to keep an eye on where Tanish is in terms of how much progress he's making. A couple of position changes behind. Wilster gets past Monk. It seems to be through the Ascari chicane. I think it might have been Wilster and Monk still exchanging positions. Monk having taken the position back now up into P7, but the battle is definitely for the top step of the podium now. Cryptid with this 3-second time penalty is having to defend. Is having to defend not only from P2 at this point, but possibly even P3. And if Kapil can get there, he might end up outside of the podium.
Let's see, but Kapil does have a penalty. Oh, as Tanish picked up a 3-second penalty himself.
And now Evil Dog is the net race winner after all the penalties are applied.
Yeah, but definitely. That turn 1 chicane can catch quite a bit off guard. But we do have, I think that's Streeter there, who has been lapped for some reason.
Yeah, it does seem to be the case.
As you can see, Cryptid pick up a lot of gravel there, going through the Roger chicane. This is going to go down to the wire. If Tanish is brave enough, he can potentially get the win on track. But of course, let's not forget Evil Dog is sitting right behind them. So there's a battle for P2 right now at the front.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be it's going to be a position on the podium on merit and merit alone at this point, as Cryptid having to drive the tires off that car coming through the Ascari chicane. Seems like Tanish got a much better exit, carrying a lot more speed. As we cut through the trees, we just go on board with Tanish as he comes down to Parabolica. Will he be bold enough to send it around the outside? Goes for the switchback. Cryptid holds his line well. Tanish very sideways. Runs wide. Keeps his car in control though, which will be Good news for him. Will he be able to retain a spot on the podium at least? Cool. Evil Dog comes across the line.
And that means Evil Dog is a net race winner and Couple cross the line. Now Faizan coming across the line is P5. RB coming out seemed to struggle a little bit, but comes P6. And we can see Street has finished the race already as he has been lapped. I'm not sure if his car was on track, but Wilster has now quite a far bit behind, nearly 48 seconds behind the leaders. But it'll be interesting. I wonder if Monk can bring some surprises right now and get into like P7. But interesting fact, Monk finished P8 in both the races.
So in the first race, I think he qualified somewhere around P9, P10. So he's picked up a couple of positions in the first race, but he has lost quite a few positions in the second race after starting in pole position after the result of the feature race was reversed. The top 8 was reversed. That put Monk and Faizan on the front row. Faizan also, you could say, didn't capitalize fully from the opportunities, but he did have an incident which involved him and also, I believe, another driver. I think it was Abi20 or Monk. I'm not quite sure. I think it was Monk and him who were fighting, and then coming through Lesmos 1 and 2, there was an incident.
As Abi20 decides to head into the pits.
I think he's doing the old Schumacher strat or finishing the race coming across the line.
Yep, that did look like it. Well, technically, it can be used in Monza because technically it is a shorter run to the line if you use the pit lane entry. Technically.
And Couple picks up driver of the day. I think he started outside the top 10 and finished in P4. A good drive from Couple there.
Yep, absolutely. And I think that's our race for today. As we can see, Evil Dog with a very inspired pose over there.
Yep, and if we just go to the oh, this is the results for the weekend. Oh, it is. Is it? I think I think there was an option where you could actually look at the results for both races overall.
Yep, wait, let me have a look. I cannot change. My keyboard seems to have stopped working.
It seems to be technical difficulties for all over IRC today. Let's say
It is not letting me change it. I do not have any control over the game.
Oh damn!
That is a very strange event.
I think just try alt tabbing.
We lost.
And
Yep.
yeah, I think we should just go ahead and go to the podium interview now. Hopefully we can get the drivers in here so we can have a little talk with them. Oh,
Yep.
and by the way, just at the beginning of lap 8, I tried to reconnect to Steam and it still says trying to connect. As in, it still hasn't given me a bad message saying it's not connected. It's still trying to connect after 5 laps.
Weird issue. This game does tend to like make Steam behave all kinds of weird ways, so that's not surprising.
Definitely not surprising, but we should have the drivers coming into the VC here so we can just have a talk with them after a very, very interesting race, definitely.
Yep.
Let's see if we can drag some people. I think Evil Dog finished in P3.
I'm not sure. Okay, we can go back in the stream and check actually.
Let me do that then. I think, yeah, Evil Dog finished in P1. My apologies. Evil Dog and Tanish. So I'll go ahead and drag Evil Dog and oh wait, they were just there in this VC a second ago. They have now disappeared. I'll drag Tanish.
So Evil Dog, Cryptid, and Tanish are the net leaders, I believe.
So
we'll
drag Tanish in here.
Yes.
I'll see if I can find Evil Dog as well. I think you can get us started with Tanish, who is currently here with us. We do have Evil Dog as well, and we should have Cryptid shortly as well. So yeah, Masum, I think you can get us started with some of the podium interviews.
Yep, sure. So So Evil Dog. So I think race one you had a little bit of contact with Faizan, I think, or Cryptid. I don't remember who it was.
That was with Faisal.
Okay, yeah, and I think you finished P5 there. And but did you think at that point that you would be able to get the net race win after that incident in the first race?
No. I think I would have finished some like my thought was like somewhere to finish around P8 or P7, but luckily the penalties of others helped me a lot.
Yep, absolutely. And yeah, Itzel, if you can take the question on for Danish, and of course a great drive from you there, Evil Dog, to keep it consistent in both the races despite incidents.
Yeah.
Also, were you running a preset setup or something, or were you running a setup? Because I noticed you were missing 5 kph compared to Cryptid.
Yeah, I was running balanced.
Oh yeah, I thought so.
So I was like in the straight line, it was evident that I was not gaining on anyone.
I had a feeling that was the case.
Like the setup selection was a bit of was a bit tricky. Everything got completed in a flash of flash of moment. So
Okay, yep. Unfortunate. Yep. All right. Moving on to Danish. Itzel, you can go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Tanish, you are available here with us? I think you are. Yep. Let's talk to you. I have just one thing regarding your whole race weekend, which was I want to go into your mind regarding that strategy call in the first race, where under safety car you decided to pit from the lead to go for a new set of wet tires and then proceeded to pick up a penalty. What, like, penalty aside, what was the thought process behind that strategy call?
Yeah, I mean, like I was literally not expecting the rain to start at that moment. It was like, okay, it would start after 3 4 laps, and I can get the tires to like I can create some advantage with the new tires maybe before the rain starts properly. The track gets wet, but it was just unfortunate with the rain starting just at that moment, and I had to pit again. Nothing I could do there.
I think you were the only driver who pitted again after it started. I mean, there was an initial period where everybody was pitting for wet tires, yes, and I think you capitalized well on that and you pit onto the wet tires, and that was a good strategy call in the end. But you pitted again during the second safety car period, which was during wet conditions, and many
I
drivers chose to stay out, whereas you went in, which is what I was
yeah.
wondering.
I highly doubt like if my tires would have gone to the end because I was already 60% on my 40 50% on my fronts while
Oh
locking
wow.
up under braking, so it was just risky to take them to the end.
Ah, well, fair enough. It was, I mean, you did, and I presume you were running a slightly higher downforce setup in anticipation of the rain because you seem to be carrying a lot more mid-corner speed when compared to some of the drivers around you who were running
Yeah,
in the.
yeah. I was losing a lot on the straights. Yeah, I was running a high, like it was not high downforce, but yeah, the wings were high.
Also unlucky
Rest
on the
everything.
second race. Unlucky on the second race. If it weren't for that penalty right at the end, you would have been net P1. But Evil Dog, of course, came through just behind you. Pretty clear of penalties, so he won the race
Yeah.
on merit. But you
Yep.
technically did win it on track, so I guess you can take that away. Anyways, good race from
Uh,
you.
yeah. Thank you. Yep.
Good race from you. And I think we have Cryptid in the VC as well. Cryptid, are you there?
Yeah, yeah.
Good race from you in both races. Can you talk us through?
Yeah, the first race was a lot chaotic than the second one. Actually, I'd like to apologize, Tanish, because the safety car. I thought it was like 4 laps, right? The safety car was on the track. So I thought that the lap in which Tanish made contact with someone, I thought that the safety car was in. So I tried to give position back, but yeah,
Also, in that second race, you definitely would have been
yeah.
the winner in net had you not picked up a couple of penalties towards the latter couple stages of the race. But yeah, unlucky overall. You were definitely carrying a lot of pace, being a little bit forced with the overtakes, maybe.
Yeah, like Evil Dog really squeezed me on that straight. That was like really fun actually.
Yeah, I
But
mean, the
yeah,
Formula 2 cars are definitely more of a challenge to handle over F1. So, yeah, again, I
yeah,
just would like to say great race to all of the podium finishers, and you really pulled off a good performance in both races under challenging conditions. I think that should be it from everyone here at IRC for this weekend. Hopefully, you had fun. Hopefully you all enjoyed this stream. We do apologize once again for the technical issues. They do crop up every once in a while. They are out of our control, unfortunately. But yeah, that should be all from us today. Thank you very much for watching. This is Aidsil and Masoom signing off in the commentary box, and we will see you next time. Take care. Good night.
Bye.